Hello everybody, my name is Anthnwam. Welcome back to Let's Play Suzerain. People seem to really enjoy the first video. A lot more than I was actually expecting them to. And if you are enjoying the series, leave a thumbs up and comment down below, because it really does help show me like what people are actually enjoying on the channel. And it's more likely that I'll make more videos if people are actually showing like this high engagement towards it. So, last time we became the president. Pretty good. And now we have a meeting on the media strategy, or we can have a briefing on the current economic situation. Well, let's have a briefing on the current economic situation, because things don't seem to be going like super great in our country. We are in a bit of a recession. So we're meeting with Graf, who is the Minister of the Interior, Manager, who is the Minister of Rural Development, and Hall, who is the Minister of the Economy. Simon Hall, Gus Manager, and Lilith Graf were about to arrive at the White Room for our scheduled economic meeting. This was the room in the Maroon Palace where all the important meetings were held. Two assistants arrived first, carrying a heavy projector. They stood with it by the door waiting for the ministers to enter. From the hallway, I heard Graf's voice. She was using the patient, almost motherly tone she often took in heated arguments. Gus, do you really think that such an economically advanced area is in more need of investment than Sordland? Lilith, the interior minister, strode in. She was clad in shades of brown and beige. The only spot of color was a bright yellow nurse's star on her necklace. Gus followed close behind. Don't be an idiot, Lilith. What about the unemployment crisis in the greater Sordland and Glisland regions are going through? These areas are economic heartland. Gus controlled his hands in the fist. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development's temper hadn't changed since its days in the Alfonso administration, but neither had his reputation for getting things done. His far-reaching network of connections was unlike any other. Simon Hall quickly stepped between the two ministers without looking at either of them. He cleared his throat. Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, everyone. How are you? I'm very well and motivated, Mr. Rayne. It seems our ministers are feeling the same. Please refer to me as Mr. President. I didn't work decades of my life to be called Mr. Rayne, okay? Okay, so I can clearly see that. What was the discussion about? We were having a discussion about the infrastructure plans. If I may, I'd like to talk to you about the... Simon interrupted. We'll get there, Gus. No rush. First, I'd like to conduct my economy presentation. I'm interested in what Gus has to say. Of course, Mr. President. Sir, I have had some very good construction companies willing to take government contracts in greater Sordland and Glisland regions. This would boost the rural economy. I think this would be wise to pick investments and that will go through in these regions. So, Gus, you are the... Yeah, you're the person in charge of rural developments. It seems like a good opportunity, right? Additionally, we can... Lilith interrupted him. A wise idea, if your main agenda is to make money instead of developing the region and serving the people. Lilith, could you elaborate? You know, it's our first day in office. We don't want to be super confrontational right now. Of course. The argument is simple. Sordland is our weakest region, both in terms of economic and social support. We should support the city of Avroy and its respected mayor. How impartial can he really be? Simon was observing the argument. I can't look at the map, right? Like, I can't look... We can look at the city here. Avery's regional capital of Sordland. Situation by the cliffs facing the sea. Fishing companies, regional trade. 1930 situation of the city was much worse due to the effective mayorship of Liz Graf. Oh, no, but due to the mayorship of... Look, you were the mayor of the city? That's a bit of a conflict of interest, I would say. I know she's the mayor. I know the answer to question 3 because I looked up this little information. What are your thoughts, Simon? You are the overall minister of the economy. I have to say that I agree with both of them. Thanks for helping out. Not at all. Like, none. Sordland is in need of investment, and we can improve greater Sordland and Glisland. I want to avoid this topic now, since we'll talk about it in the future. I'd rather first fully brief you on the current economic situation. Simon pulled a handkerchief out of his pocket and briefly wiped his glasses. My staff and I have comprehensively analyzed every aspect of... He was interrupted by a groan from one of the assistants by the door, both of whom are now visibly struggling to hold up the heavy projector. Oh, you could put that there. He pointed below the painting of President Sol. The assistants placed the projector next to the table and installed a white screen on the wall. Leave now, I mean, thank you, and please leave now. The assistants left the cabinet room. I was reminded that Simon had never quite had a way with people, but his facility with numbers had made him the most sought-after economic specialist in Sordland. Simon started looking after his slides, always carried documentation around with him. I'm not gonna yawn. That's incredibly rude. Leos leaned towards the table and spoke. Simon, what happened to the new police station construction in Estord? While looking through the briefcase, he paused for a moment to answer. It got stalled due to the government property boundary issue. I've been meaning to look into that. I can take a look at it, Estord. Estord needs all the security it helps. All the security help it can get. Sure, more time for me to spend on analysis. His eyes glittered when he finally found the slides he was looking for. Today there's been some developments about the Sordland losing further valuable today. We have been trying to stabilize it with the central bank. The recession of 51 put enormous pressure on the economy, resulting in a collapse of the value of our currency. The entire situation was significantly cause for concern of our administration. What would you like to know about the current economic situation? Well, what's the overall status? What's the status of it? The economy has been in recession by about -6% in the past year. The average GDP has dropped from SR 15,454 per capita to SR 10,359 from 1951 to now. That seems like a much more than a 6% drop, but okay. The administration's, I guess actually, what year is it? I don't actually know what year it is. I think it's 53? So this is from 51. The administration's next depends on our ability to stop the recession, and the sooner we can reach GDP growth, the better. What is our unemployment and inflation rate? Unemployment has skyrocketed and now staggering 16%, and the inflation is at a relatively high at 7%. Unemployment is increasing crime and drug use. We need to get people off the streets. The inflation isn't helping our average citizen either. What about our GDP and debt situation? Our GDP is currently 310 billion short of trend, and our national debt is 427 billion. It's so hard to fathom that we lost nearly 150 billion in wealth in the past 3 years were tough. Okay, so it's been 3 years, so it's 1954. I have all the information I need. Let's move on to the economic strategy. Simon scattered the paper stack in front of him in an orderly manner and took a final look at the notes before clearing his throat. As you can see, I smashed my monitor with my hand. As you can see, the situation is alarming, but not everything is negative. Extensive privatization program, Alson's less than a large budget surplus that we can use to stabilize the crisis. The primary subjects we need to settle on is the general path to take in our term. Somanex-based nationalism happened in the 1930s, and Alfonso's privatization began during the end of the 40s. What will our administration focus on? One of our main promises was to promote a planned economy to stop the recession. To be frank, I don't think this was a good idea. And Gus, again, he is the Minister of Rural Development. We shouldn't go back on Solonomics. It was the reason for this recession. Self-sufficiency will help us through tough times. Simon ignored the statement. So it looks like Gus probably is more towards the planned economy. Lilith more towards the free market. And I think Simon is in agreement with that as well. You know what economic systems are... Let's see, what are the downsides of the planned economy? It is clear that most of the state corporations and other government-controlled systems are less efficient. The government of Sordland and its institutions or corporations have a solid history of delivering. The structural problems of Solonomics are going to lead to a recession according to predictions at the time anyway. Either way, if given to pick between one of the doctrines, we retain the option to make economic choices on a case-by-case basis. That is, however, not recommended from my point of view. The last thing we need is a chaotic economic plan. Finally, we can both agree on Lilith. There's another important thing, which has a direct impact on our economy, superpowers. We have done well not aligning ourselves with any one of them. Economically speaking, isolation policy overall could only work if we were to reap the benefits of both spheres in a rivalry. This is very dangerous to attempt, but still possible. We must be very cautious. There are schemes being devised about Sordland. We cannot give in to their wants now or in the future, otherwise our country will turn into a pawn. Sordland will not be controlled by any nations. Precisely my point! We will stand strong and show an example to the world. I hope we won't regret this. Simon clears his throat once again. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Minister Whiskey, who is... not here. Minister Whiskey will be in charge of informing you on these types of foreign policy decisions. We must first decide our internal economic plan. Simon put forward a legal document outlining the possibilities with both economic doctrines listed. The cabinet members looked at me. What's on our long-term economic schedule? Big construction company, trade relations, tax reform, and welfare privatization, or nationalization initiatives would be some of them. We must choose wisely. Remember that the free market economy in all forms is the future of the world. I wouldn't be so sure, says Lilith Graf. The planned economy bring us stronger allies. It makes United Cortana diplomatically look at our country in a more positive light. They're promoted to the planned economy. The influence of Arcasia on the world economy is extensive. Our economic strategy should be based on internal reasoning, no. I think we'll just move on. I don't think we're going to make a choice. What are your final thoughts then, Mr. President? Hard to agree, fully disagree. Let's do the stake roll. I mean, that's what we promised. Few could be and it wouldn't be negative, but either way, you make the choices. So what is our general economic plan proposed? Then I guess we'll go with our promise of the planned economy. Not sure we made the right decision here. Gus looks worried. Now that there is clarity on which direction we are heading, I will look at the good plan accordingly. This concludes our meeting. At the next gathering, we will talk about the upcoming infrastructure plan. Now the economic direction, now that the economic direction has been taken, the ministers dispersed for lunch at the Maroon Palace. Once again, we're saving the game. And now we have 2 exclamation points. So we can either go for invest in mega infrastructure, and you want us to meet for the media strategy. Well, let's look at this mega infrastructure here. 1 government budget. The Minister of the Economy has put forward 2 bold plans for mega infrastructure projects that would help the economic recession in the long term. Investing in a project at this scale will take up a portion of our budget, but we could prove we're well in accomplishing successfully. So we have 3 budget points. We'll spend 1 on the mega infrastructure plan. And of course, we have a lot of news, mostly from the Latvian Times. Freezing temperatures reported, -29 in the city of Suzerain. Is that really a record low? I guess we must be further down south. Okay, anyways. Let's meet about our media strategy. Lucien and Peter arrive at my office to talk about the recent developments and media strategy. So again, Lucien is the chief strategist, and Peter is our vice president. They both look at, to their seats across from me. Lucien puts on his reading glasses and he quickly went over some documents. Peter turned to Lucien and nodded. Let's begin. First of all, Lucien, you mentioned that Mercy Kanati contacted you. The Kanatis had always been known for be one of the richest and most influential families in Sordland. Marcel Kanati was no exception. He was the oldest son of Karath Karoti, the industrialist and mega mogul who founded HOS, the richest man in the entirety of Sordland. HOS is just a multi-industry corporation with tens of billions of SR. Okay, just a big company. Lucien turned to me. He's offered to meet you, Mr. President. What does he want? Well, after passing his father, may he rest in peace, Marcel aims to become the next CEO of the HOS conglomerate. He mentioned a productive collaboration. They're a powerful, influential media conglomerate to start with. They own the Sordland Today newspaper and the Sordist Broadcasting Corporation, which means we wives have them on our side. Sorry for interrupting. What does this productive collaboration entail? He didn't always explain the details over the phone, but rather in person. I believe I will be receiving a call from him sometime soon. However, as Peter said, they have substantial power over the contacts of media outlets, outlines, radio shows. That is what he would be offering. What he wants in return, we need to understand. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, we need to determine our general approach to media. I have far less expertise in the matter, but very interesting arguments were made by Lucien in preparations meeting yesterday. There are 2 ways we can approach the media. One of them is by influencing it with the clear advantages, and the other is keeping it independent. Let's have an independent media. Ideally, yes. But an unpopular leader will not be able to pass even the easiest reforms. It's the utmost importance to maintain the public popularity and avoid any damaging scandals and mistakes. I must stress one thing, Mr. President. The more people we have on our side supporting our agenda, the more we can accomplish. With someone on our side, with an influential media organization, we can do this very easily. I see where you're getting at. I agree with Lucien, but isn't there another way we can avoid these issues? We can always hope for the best. Do you really think that nothing can go wrong, especially considering the near-term history of Sordland? 2 knocks are heard at the door. Just come in. It's fine. Livia Suno, my new secretary, has entered the office. Her dark curls bounced as she crossed the room to my desk. She spoke with a slight tilt to her voice. Or slight lilt? I don't know what that actually means. Excuse me, Mr. President. Mr. Galday's secretary has been calling me and wanted to relay a message. Marcel Canodi, this new CEO of the HOS conglomerate, is on the line for Mr. Glade. Peter, Victorin, well, the ball is in our court now. Would you like to talk to him, or should you let me to? No, I'm going to talk to him. I'm the president. Connecting to line 1, Levia left the room, and the phone starts ringing. Pick up the phone. So you are Marcel Carnotti, CEO of the HOS Corporation. It's a pleasure, Mr. Caranti. The pleasure is all mine. I know your time is valuable, so I will not waste any of it. I was just elected to be the CEO of HOS. My strategy in running this conglomerate will be different than my father's approach. This is why I'm offering a partnership deal regarding our media branch. I would like to formally invite you to my resort near Conrite, or for Conrite, for a meeting to discuss the details. Thank you for the offer. I am interested in the meeting. You will not be disappointed, I promise. Well then, I'll let you return to your packed schedule. See you later, Mr. President. Goodbye. I hung up the phone. I'll set things up right away. Expect a worthwhile meeting next month. It is settled then. Looking forward to the meeting next month. Lucien looked at his watch. Well, it looks like we ran out of time for today. We will continue where we left off later. Thank you for your time. Good work. Yeah, good work from Marcel. Keep it up. Lucy and Peter nodded before gathering documents and probably leaving the office. We are already getting the attention of key and potentially dangerous figures. So are most of these just... Okay. Increased homeless in Deer. Problems agricultural growth in Sarna. So right now, we can sign a bill. The Grand National Assembly of the Republic of Sordland at the first session begun and held in the city of Horseland. The Election Campaign Finance Bill. The criteria for allocation of public funds shall no longer be according to the number of votes won in general election by a political party. The new criteria shall be the proportion of seats won by a political party in the assembly. Political parties shall receive an annual amount of 500,000 rent per member of assembly. This results in doubling the USP's general election budget and slight increase to other parties in the assembly, while effectively removing all funding from parties that are below 10% of the electoral threshold. I think we just veto this one. If I'm promising democratic reforms, I feel like doubling only our party support probably will not go great for that. So yeah, this is still all turn 1. Again, I don't know how long turns, quote-unquote, last, but we'll see. Discussion of potential infrastructure projects. The view towards the Marquean Sea from Latvian is nothing short but exquisite. The seaside state residence, fittingly named the Blue Mansion, was large, fine, and accommodating. But enjoying a luxurious mansion wasn't the main reason for our visit. We gathered the economic team here to discuss a new infrastructure investment project. Half an hour already passed since we started the meeting. Unfortunately, I did not have the chance to have my usual afternoon coffee. Looking at the view from the windows, I let my mind drift for a couple of seconds. Someone's voice brought me back onto the ongoing discussion. Mr. President, we need to focus on boosting the economy as quickly as possible. One of the fastest ways to achieve this is through infrastructure projects. Agreed. On one hand, businessmen are complaining about slow logical rail networks between Horseland and Latvian. Lilia started talking as soon as Simon took a breath. On the other hand, citizens are criticizing the lack of proper highway connections between Latvian and Avery. The narrow roads by the seaside are not only dangerous, but are also very difficult to traverse. Citizen demands matter the most. Their demands are just. The dire situation of the road infrastructure between Latvian and Avery can't be neglected. The return on investment will be low. Our concern should be on economic growth. This is not the business. It's not the business people that suffer, but the ordinary folk. What really matters, though, is that we can accomplish something tangible in your first economic act. We must prove our administration capabilities. The people must know that this administration can get things done. Therefore, I define two important projects for your attention: the H3 highway project and the L1 high-speed railway project. Mr. Hall repositioned himself on the chair to take a more comfortable posture. The ministry can only support one project at a time with the current capacity and budget. Let's move on to the details of each. So which one do you want to hear about? Let's hear about the highway project first. The H3 project aims to improve the abysmal state of the road network in the Aglan region bordering Angnolia. The area is home to several million Anglo-Sordish and Sordish who feel neglected. There are no proper highway connections to and from England, and the mayor of Avery, Eric Neal, has been asking for a bigger budget to develop infrastructure in the region. He told us that even trucks are having a hard time traveling through the main roads. The increased traffic is causing trouble for people commuting in and out of the region. I agree this could also hurt local businesses. It is. Bless their souls. We're happy. I'm happy we're thinking alike on the matter. Let us look at the map. Okay, let's look at the map. I looked at the map. Lilith was pointing at Latvian, which is here. I looked at the map. The H3 highway route starts here and ends and leads to Lurkburg, which is this city up towards the north. And I'm assuming we'll then continue over to Avery. And from there it goes on to Avery. So it's not actually like a big highway project. As a result, the road network towards Angolan capital, Stolport, will improve substantially. She paused and leaned forward in her chair. I said that the center government continuously neglect the Anglo-Swedish-dominated regions when I was mayor. Is this administration going to continue this kind of negligence? We should make the Agno-Sworded citizens respected as swords like all of us. I'm all for sworded citizens without separations or preference. Therefore, we should think about the country overall. It has been pointed out that the highway would be less beneficial in the near term. I have to disagree. It will increase the speed of transportation throughout the region. Our citizens will be quite pleased if we successfully accomplish this. Besides, if we enter trade trucks in Angola, they would see this investment as a positive sign. I want to hear about the other project. Your predecessor, Alfonso, has failed in delivering this campaign promise, but we can start the construction of a groundbreaking railway project. As you know, our current trains cannot meet the standards of today. As many other countries adopt this new electric engine and technology to power up their trains, we fall one step behind. Reports of the newest trains in United Cortona traveling at incredible speeds have piqued the business interest. They too want to transfer resource material from Sordland to Latvian with great speed and efficiency. Major cities in Sordland need more infrastructure to support their growing populations. This should be our priority: growth and development or optimization. Our plans to upgrade the old L1 line from Sordland to Latvian will transform to a high-speed rail. So it'll go from this city, this is our capital, Sordland. And at first, the construction will begin near the capital. It'll go to Enrica first, so it goes to here, and then to Latvian. And then it connects to Gelsord, and then goes to Latvian afterwards. Our economic powerhouse. The L1 will significantly boost the economy in the newly linked cities, and even the rural areas in between. Latvian is our primary port, so the goods unloaded there, we transported to Sordland much faster. Yes, we should link these rural areas in the middle with the major cities of Sordland. We're talking about the wealthiest region, and we're getting about England, which needs it more. The city of Enrica, Curtis Less, has also requested this project to be prioritized. Businessmen in the region have been very content with increased investment in employment, therefore I recommend the L1 high-speed rail project. Do I build a road towards the north, or do I build the railway? See, this is a difficult question. I don't really know. I'm leaning towards the railway. Yeah, let's go for the train. That's the right choice, Mr. President. Negotiations will begin in the middle of the year. You'll be able to award a contract to a corporation of your choice. The ministry estimates that the entire construction will finish in 2 years if every step going forward is executed successfully. Is there anything else? This should be all, Mr. President. See you soon, Mr. Rayne. Have a nice day, Mr. President. So I think with our infrastructure planned, there's going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So thanks everybody for watching. My name is Anthnwam. If you enjoyed, thumbs up. Not doing, thumbs down. You want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.